What is up, everybody? It is Owen Shapiro. I have some crazy news. I got all the Superman movies live action ranked. Now, I'm going to give some hot takes on these movies, and overall, I'm going to rank them in the end. So starting off, we got Superman Returns, which I believe is the best adaptation of Superman. I think Superman Returns gets it perfectly because, one, it's staying true to the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. And not only that, it has the concept, but it's able to actually tackle all the pieces correctly. And I really love the story. I really think that the actual build-up in the beginning is really cool. As a little kid, I loved the movie, but that's not everything. I thought the whole kryptonite thing in the end was kind of sick too. So get ready for this. Batman vs. Superman is the best Superman movie we have had since the original Superman. I personally believe that Batman vs. Superman is a representation of society today. It really, watch the movie, compare that to the society of the United States today, and you're going to realize it's almost exactly alike. I'm not going to say who is who, because that would be kind of political, and that's not what I'm on here to do. But Batman vs. Superman is the most relevant film today. I'd say Batman vs. Superman is the most relevant superhero movie today in 2025. I think 20 years from now, Batman vs. Superman is going to be considered a huge classic. Man of Steel, it's real, example. The first half of the film was incredible. I loved it. There are some things that were iffy, like Superman stealing clothes, and he just didn't seem like Superman to me, but he's going for that real gritty look, and that's Zack Snyder. So you can't blame him. That's his adaptation. That's his point of view and perspective. He has the power, and that's what he wants to make. And I agreed with the first part. I thought the whole thing with him falling into the stones or whatever they are, the skulls, was really cool. That was really, really cool. But once they start fighting, I thought the whole movie just drops off. I thought Zod, oh my gosh, Zod was insane. I'd say honestly, Zod is the best Superman villain we've had. He's probably the most powerful. He's probably the coolest. He's like, I'm going to get everything. He's like, I'm like, yeah, that's a cool villain. It's like all the kids growing up around them were like, yeah, Zod would make a really cool villain in almost every movie. I think he'd be threatening in every single superhero movie. And I'm saying this out of an intimidation level. I think obviously Heath Ledger's Joker is the best superhero villain in any movie ever, I'd say. I don't know if you consider Darth Vader, that's science fiction, but that's up there. But comic book villains, Heath Ledger's Joker is the best villain ever. And I think on the other hand too, I do believe Zod is up there. I think Zod is really cool. Superman: The Quest for Peace. Yeah, Christopher Reeve directed it. Everyone was fired and brought back and all this stuff, and he had to end up directing it, and he didn't appreciate the movie, didn't like it. I could tell he did his best with it. Bad movie. I think we can all admit that. It was not a good movie. I thought the whole thing with the woman breathing in space, even though she's not a superhero and she's human, doesn't make sense. I thought that was so ridiculous. Superman, hot take though, Superman the character, Christopher Reeve Superman as the character is at his best in this film. I thought Christopher Reeve was incredible. I thought he put on his best acting as Superman more than any other movie in this film. I think he is not the problem. It's more of the horrendous situation that happened and the circumstances Reeve had to deal with that made him want to not play Superman any. Obviously, he's happy to be a part of it and stuff, but I would completely agree with the whole situation being horrendous, even though I was not the director. So that brings me to Superman 2. I love this film as a little kid. I wish there was a little bit more onto what Superman was doing in his daily life. That was actually the good things about Superman 4. But look, I think Superman 2 is incredible. I think all the versions are incredible. Whole thing with Lois and Superman is great. Obviously, we know that the whole kiss thing, how does that work? But once again, I think the second act of the film, I think it's true to the story. I think it's true to what we know of Superman. I think it's true to how that would actually go. I think eventually Lois would find out that Clark Kent is Superman. I don't think, once again, there's nothing wrong with the film. It's actually one of my favorite movies. And I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's a warm movie that everyone can appreciate. You know, the villains, while they're not completely bloody violent, they are violent. And I think this Superman 1 and Superman 2 was the birth of comic book movies. And I don't think we had a good number 1 and 2, maybe till the Dark Knight trilogy. Once again, I think great movie. I wish they would have kept it to number 3, which is where I'm going now. Superman 3. I watched it all the time as a kid because I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was trying to figure out what was happening. Like, it just didn't make sense to me as a kid. And that was where I was like, I need to figure it out. And that's when I realized that Bizarro is horrifying. He is a completely horrifying villain who's in the film. He plays Bizarro. I was shell-shocked by that. I thought that was one of the terrifying moments in all the Superman movies and comic book movies. It just didn't fit in this film. I wish Bizarro was the main villain rather than, I don't know, all this stuff about people using computers that look, it doesn't make sense. Using video games with, computer rockets to explode Superman doesn't make sense at all because, one, it doesn't relate to kryptonite. Two, it doesn't make sense. You need code. You need things that will actually defeat him or have any sort of threat of defeating anything human. And the answer is you want to get some rockets to follow him around? Like, are you joking? The comedian stuff was kind of stupid to me, but I accepted it as laughing gags, okay? Because at least it was not as bad as the rest of the movie. I thought once again, the beginning as a kid made me laugh. I was like, haha, that's funny. I thought the moment with the pictures was good. Once again, the character was great. I didn't think it worked. The whole Bizarro thing fit in with the movie. I think the entire movie should have been Superman 3 versus Bizarro. But it became stuff with trying to fight off explosion. Once again, so that brings me to the new Superman movie, Superman Legacy. I think this movie is kind of a slap in the face to all the DC fans of the past 20 years, the fans that really appreciate it and follow it. But it works because it's back to the old version. It's back to Superman Returns, original Superman, Christopher Reeve. I think it's similar to Smallville, which I appreciate. I actually like Smallville. Very good show. One of my favorite shows growing up as a kid. I just felt that this new Superman movie, as much as it was perfect, it was so ridiculous that he wasn't even in most of the film. He wasn't the main characters. I'll say this, other characters were really cool. But not only that, I felt the fights, as much as they were cool, they sort of started to distract me. And I felt that when they would make jokes, they took it to another level that was not funny to me anymore. I think some of the jokes, even after ones didn't work, were funny, but eventually it didn't work. But once again, all the acting was incredible. Everything in the movie was great. but the writing did not work for me. It's interesting. It's hard for me to find a movie where the actual movie works, but the writing doesn't. And I think Lex Luthor, top 5 comic book villains of the past 20 years. I think, this new Superman, top 5 superheroes of the past 20 years. Lois Lane was really cool. I thought the new perspectives on heroes, like the Secret Justice League or whatever they were, was good. I thought that was really cool. I wish they would have maybe made the writing a little bit more intelligent, but that's James Gunn's style, people being delinquents. So, that's not me saying his style's bad. He's made himself as a top director. So you cannot blame that. You can't blame someone for being able to make movies at a top level. I think I might have my own mini criticisms on it, which I will get to in another video of him versus Zack Snyder. But once again, good movie, 8 out of 10. And that brings me to the very first live action Superman movie ever made, Superman. Okay? Oh my gosh, I've loved this movie since I was probably born. I used to walk around the school in elementary school with a Superman shirt with a cape attached to it until they forced me not to wear it anymore. I know, interesting, right? This was my first elementary school, not the second. The second was cool. But, I always related to Christopher Reeve. I think Christopher Reeve created the superhero genre. Him and Richard Donner created the superhero genre in this movie. This was the foundation of the superhero genre. He founded it. Look, you got to say there's Zorro, there's other movies that were cool too. But, they were similar to, I'd say, Kill Bill, which that was sick. But I do think that this Superman movie really established what a superhero movie was, how to make it big on the top level. Not only that, his smile while he waves and leaves, his passion for the role. I think as a kid, I thought the game plan of Lex Luthor trying to take over California did not make sense for me. Now I know that's just what he does. He does in Superman Returns. He's now doing it in this new Superman movie. He even tries to do it. I think he tries to do it in Batman vs. Superman. It's not really talked about much, but he did. Or in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He even tries to somewhat do it in Superman 2, but he just has Zod and other of them. He just teams up with them. I think they thought he was an idiot. But it was funny. It was cool. Once again, it's funny and cool, which is why the new Superman today works. I respect it, but the old Superman, Christopher Reeves, they really created what superhero movies are today. Even The Dark Knight, which I believe is the best superhero movie ever made, this Superman, I'd say, created it. I honestly think that. So now I'm going to rank it. So I have Superman 4 at number 8, obviously. Superman 3, number 7, obviously. Man of Steel, number 6. Superman 5, not Superman 5, number 5. Superman 2 at number 5. Superman Returns, number 4. Superman Legacy, number 3. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, number 2. Superman, the movie, number 1. That is it, guys. That is my list. I'm going to get to the whole Zack Snyder, James Gunn thing. I think it's interesting takes on both sides. I'm not against anybody as a director. I think both of them are incredible visions. I think both of them are incredible at what they do with their films. I think there's just a lot of drama. Anyway, guys, I'm your boy Oshap, Owen Shapiro. Oshap, I'm out. See you guys.